Hey, and welcome to the Short Stuff. I'm Josh, and there's Chuck, and Jerry's here sitting in for Dave, but he's here in spirit, so this is Short Stuff. So
Dave, I miss Dave.
I miss Dave too. It's been a little while.
I haven't seen his lovely, handsome face.
I have not seen another human being in 2 years.
Oh, that's not true.
It's been a while. You know, a human being who I have never seen, but wouldn't mind seeing because he has a great mustache, is a man named Justin O. Schmidt.
He seems like a stash guy.
Oh, he's a big-time stash guy from pictures. So I've seen him in pictures. I've never seen him in real life. How about that?
Yeah, he seems like a guy. I wanted to see like if there were any interviews with him on video because he seems like quite a character.
You would have to be to come up with what he did, which is the Schmidt Sting Pain Index, which is a scale that qualifies at least, and I guess quantifies numerically, the pain associated with the stings from different insects.
Right. So we've talked about the hot pepper chart.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've talked about the regular pain chart.
Yeah, with the faces.
With the faces.
Yeah.
And I think Schmidt realized that there was they knew about like the damage a sting could cause, but like not the actual pain level. Is that right?
Yeah, and he was already, he works with hymenopterans, bees, wasps, and ants. He's an entomologist, we should probably say. And he was getting stung already. And he's like, well, I might as well be the one to just go ahead and start making something like this so that there is some sort of index of how painful these things are. And I think ultimately, Chuck, he was trying to see if there was a correlation between the amount of damage done and the amount of pain inflicted initially.
And where was Dr. Schmidt working at the time?
UGA.
Home of our national champion, Georgia Bulldogs.
That's right.
Feels so good to say.
He was probably there not too long after the last time they were national champions.
Yeah, I mean, that was 1980, and I think this was in 1984.
Yeah, 83, 84 is when he first published the first index. He's now at University of Arizona, and no one in Georgia cares.
Oh, come on. Go Wildcats.
Sure.
I think that's Wildcats, right? Yeah, that's Wildcats.
Yeah. Arizona State's the Sun Devils.
So as the story goes, he was going back to his office at UGA there on campus, probably North Campus where the science buildings are. I didn't go over there much.
Okay.
Not very good looking part of campus, but that's where those science buildings are. And you haven't been to Athens in a while, right?
It's been a while.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's you'll see people there too, so you can kill two birds with one stone.
Oh, okay, people. Haven't seen them in a while.
That's right. So he was coming back after a cross-country road trip with his wife, Debbie, who's a zoologist. And this is when he put out his Schmidt. It's like one of the few times you can name something after yourself without, like, because of ego, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's rather appropriate he named it after himself, not just for all of the pain he endured. He was stung at least 1,000 times by his estimate, while he cataloged 83 different species, but also like the personality he associated with the index too. It's not just like a sweat bee is a 1, moving on. Like he had to describe what the pain was like, or else it's basically useless.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to probably spend the rest of this episode talking about this stuff and how brilliant he was in his descriptions, right?
Yeah.
Should we do a couple of them before the break, or should we break?
I say we break and then we come back and just let them rip.
All right, let's do it. Go, sweat bee.
Sweat bee is a 1. I think that's surprising that it's even a 1, but sweat bees are little tiny bees that are attracted to human sweat, as you probably know. And they don't sting very often. And I don't think we said, Chuck...
0 to 4?
We didn't say 0 to 4. That's a big one. But also Dr. Schmidt he rarely tried to get stung.
Right. Yeah.
But I think sweat bees might have been one of the ones that he basically had to make sting him. But Induced, thank you. But he said that the sting is light, ephemeral, almost fruity, as if a tiny spark has singed a single hair on your arm.
It's like a nice Pinot Grigio, too.
Exactly. People very frequently compare this Schmidt stinging pain index to like wine descriptions.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Tasting notes.
How about fire ants?
The fire ant you would think would be higher, but it's only a 1. And you point out very astutely, and we should thank Business Insider, Atlas Obscura, Terminix, and Science blogs for a lot of this stuff. Mm-hmm. But you point out that, it's a fire ant, not 1,000 fire ants on your foot at once. That's a whole different jam.
But even still, a fire ant bite hurts. So the fact that it's 1 is a really good reference point for all the ones that come after that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's not a 0, so there is pain involved. And of course, you're not allergic, obviously. If you're allergic, it's a whole different thing. But if you're not allergic, it's described as a sharp, sudden, mildly alarming sting, like walking across a shag carpet and reaching for the light switch. Like a shock.
So far, so good. I could handle those. Now we're starting to get into where, like, I just don't want to have anything to do with these things. Like, starting with the bald-faced hornet.
That's a 2.
That's a 2, and the way that Schmidt described it, also apparently the bald-faced hornet's sting will keep going for about 5 minutes, and I'm sure those 5 minutes seem a lot longer than actual 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But he said that that the sting is like rich, hearty, slightly crunchy.
What's that mean?
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. What would that mean? So he goes on to describe it as similar to getting your hand mashed in a revolving door. And all of a sudden, it does kind of like take more shape, doesn't it?
Sort of. Yeah, I guess so.
And he had to do that because a bald-faced hornet is a 2, a yellowjacket is a 2, but he points out like their stings are much, much different. They feel, the pain associated with them feels much different.
Yeah, because the yellowjacket can go on for about 10 minutes, give or take a minute or two, and it described as hot and smoky, almost irreverent. Imagine W.C. Fields extinguishing a cigar on your tongue.
That's right.
There's also something I need to point out, and I know I've talked before about the time I was stung 11 times in the face and neck when I came upon a yellowjacket nest camping. They hurt according to how deep the stinger was. So the far and away the worst one and the longest lasting was the hardest to get out. It was almost fully buried in that little is it the orbital bone right under your eyebrow?
Oh boy.
And it was almost completely in there, and I barely got it out, and that one throbbed and hurt for way longer than 10 minutes.
Why did you do that?
Why did I do what?
Why did you get stung by 11 yellowjackets?
I mean, I didn't do it on purpose.
Man, were you like going after their honey or something?
No, we were going down the side of a mountain toward a river, and they have their nest in the ground, and we just disturbed it. And we got down to the river, and all of a sudden we were swarmed, and I probably ran a mile through the woods, and they were probably not a mile. It felt like a mile, half a mile. Yeah. And they were still coming after us. Like we stopped.
Crazy.
And like here come 8 or 10 of them still after us.
Wow.
Angry yellowjackets.
Wow. I should probably also point out too, Chuck, that I know that they're yellowjackets are wasps and wouldn't make honey. I was joking.
Right.
How about red harvester ants? Have you ever been stung by one of those?
No, that's a 3 though. That's getting on up there.
Well, you could have though, because you lived in Yuma and they're found in New Mexico and Arizona, but they can inflame your nerves for hours. It says.
Yes, bold and unrelenting. Somebody is using a drill to excavate your ingrown toenail. Oh, actually, I had a descriptor that I always said for years about the one on my eyebrow. Okay, let's hear it. It felt like someone had a thumbtack stuck on that bone, and they were just tapping it with a little ball peen hammer. So I guess I kind of identify more than I thought I did with weird descriptions.
There you go. Man, that sounds so terrible. I'm glad you made it.
Yes, the paper wasp is next. The most pain I've ever seen my daughter in was this past summer when she got nailed by a wasp.
Oh, no.
Awful. It's a 3.0. She screamed like I've never heard before, and I felt so terrible.
I'll bet.
The good news is it's only about 15 minutes, and then it completely went away. And the pain, and this is actually what she said. She said, it's caustic and burning with a distinctly bitter aftertaste, like spilling a beaker of hydrochloric acid on a paper cut.
That's crazy. So she's read Schmidt's book?
No, I think she just improv'd it. I was like, wow, that's really good description.
Maybe Schmidt was astrally projecting at that moment and happened to find his way in.
I'm 50. I've never been stung by a wasp.
You better knock on wood, buddy. Although
I'm knocking,
yellowjacket's
but-
a wasp.
Yeah, true. But before that 11, and trust me, I paid for it with that 11, but I'd only been stung maybe a couple of times in my life, really.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been stung much. She's been stung like 4 times already, and she's 6.5.
Wowee, yeah. I think that has me beat, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's your worst?
I don't remember. I've kind of blocked it out and I think about it, but
Probably a bee, yellow jacket.
I think it was a yellow jacket as well. They're ground dwelling, right?
Well, yeah, these were in the ground. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's exclusively in the ground, but these were.
Yes, I've been stung by a yellow jacket and it is not pleasant at all.
Yeah,
I think
those
that's probably
wasps,
the worst.
the wasps look painful.
They do. Yumi found this one. I want to say it's a tarantula wasp, but I don't know if it is or not. But it was purple and orange, and it looks just mean.
I know what you're talking about.
And she was like, that looks like something that shouldn't be near Momo. So she got Momo away, and then she went and looked it up. And yes, It turns out it has one of the most painful stings on the planet. It actually is a 4, I believe, which would make it tied with the bullet ant, which Schmidt apparently says it's a 4 because that's all the scale goes up to, but it's actually like off the charts painful.
Yeah, it's listed as 4+.
Mm-hmm.
Central and South American ant, big and black, and 12-hour pain, pure, intense, brilliant pain, like fire walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch rusty nail in your heel.
Man.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that. There's videos of people purposely getting stung by a bullet ant on YouTube.
Oh, really?
If you want to see that. Yeah, there's like a whole group of people who like go around using the Schmidt stinging pain index and purposely get stung and make videos of it just to see what it's like, ride it out. You got anything else?
I got nothing else.
Okay, well, that's it for short stuff, everybody. Steer clear of stinging insects. But if you ever do get stung by one, check it out on the Schmidt Stinging Pain Index and see if he's right. And short stuff is out.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.